Excellent. So thanks for joining us for this webinar. I am super excited to be with my Stephanie Laynes. I call her my sister, my colleague, my sassy pants boss lady, because if you know Stephanie, you know she's sassy.
I am.
I'm Maxine Drake, if you don't know me, and I'm a coach and consultant for spa professionals. But here today, we're here to spotlight Stephanie because I was just so interested when you told me, Stephanie, that 30 million people are affected with what we're going to talk about today. And that means for you guys on the, in the webinar today, about half of your clients are suffering and how you can help them without touching your clients. And of course, being the marketing and business that my brain started going like, wow, this is just, if we're a solopreneur, and I'd love to know how many are solopreneurs that are on today with us, it's all about scaling our business and how multiple streams of income. And we all love helping people as estheticians. That's just who we are. So it's also going to be how you can level up your business today, learn something new, how to add another stream of revenue, right, Stephanie, without
Absolutely.
touching your clients. And I have to say that Stephanie is also a speaker at the Beauty Business Summit this year. If you're going to join us in St. Pete Beach this October 6th and 7th. And I love your topic there in person is going to be on the consistency with relationship marketing, which we can all learn. If you haven't checked it out yet, we'll definitely drop the link in. But Stephanie, I kind of want to get started because we have a lot of really good stuff to cover. And this is going to be epic. This is your first time really like doing a webinar on this, right?
Yes, this is the first one. I would
Ooh.
say the first real deal.
Okay. And if you're on live, please know we have something very special for you at the end, but you have to be on live. And definitely you don't want to leave anyway. You don't want to lose your seat because this is
Yes.
kind of high demand webinar today. We're kind of oversold, even though it's free. Does that make sense?
We oversold.
Well, yeah, as far as seating. So don't leave. You'll lose your spot. Solo, second year. Excellent, Jessica. All right, Stephanie, you want to take it away? What
I
should we do?
will.
You want to do some screen share? You want to introduce? You want to say hello? Tell your story? What do you want to do?
I'm gonna do it all. Let's
Sure.
share it though so that everybody gets there. And then of course you can come interrupt me if there's questions that happen while we're going over stuff. So I welcome that as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So there I am. And our topic today is how to generate revenue without touching your clients. I'm Stephanie Laynes, if you don't know who I am. I own and do lots of different things. I'm very honored to have Maxine invite me in to be able to present this in this way. She has been a very good friend and pusher. And I put her in the pusher because she pushes me outside of my comfort zone and she's not afraid of the no, honey. She's more of like, yes, this is what we need to do. So you need to get started with it. So if you have not experienced Maxine on that level, I always say to put yourself in an environment with people who will push you. And you need that really in business and you need it consistently in business. So Maxine has definitely taken that spot. I've called her on many occasions saying thank you for her words, for her motivation. And even for me, as much as I do in the industry and as long as I've been in the industry, you can never not learn or never not have someone push you farther. So I will definitely say that. So let's get started. I'm very excited. So my story, I've been licensed for 16 years. I've been a spa business owner for 14 years. I created the 7-minute Brazilian technique way before I did anything else in the industry. And a lot of people don't really realize that. They kind of think that I started creating my skincare line, my wax brand, and I opened Smooth Skin Supply. I actually did the 7-minute Brazilian before all of that. And the reason I did it was because I really did not want to be waxing. I never was a waxer. I came out of school. I wanted to do facials. I wanted to really just change people's lives, people that had acne and bad skin. I wanted to be that life changer. And as we all know, when money gets funny, people's money starts to change in the spa treatment room when it comes to facial treatments.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to change my income. And that's really what sparked me to do the 7-minute Brazilian, because I didn't want to be down there doing a Brazilian that long. So it really kind of changed and propelled me in a situation and in a pathway that I did not anticipate coming out of school. So did that, opened up Smooth Skin Supply as another means of income, because my spa income had changed. At that time, we were having a sort of recession. You know, here we don't like to talk about recessions, but I really was. And I wanted to have another way of income that really didn't have me touching people. I lived in a very small town. You really couldn't get any aesthetic supplies. We didn't even have a Sally's. That's how small our town was. So for me, it was like, okay, well, there's estheticians and spas and businesses around me. They need 2x2s and gloves just like I do. So why don't I sell them? And that's really kind of how Smooth Skin Supply started. I then created my own waxes because I just felt I wanted to have a little bit more control over what I was using and what I was training. And then as of yet, I created my own skincare line, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So the 7-minute Brazilian technique was really because I wanted to be faster. And I really did not understand the equation when it came to waxing. I was always going to be limited on time, no matter what I did, how fast I was going to be. Time was always going to be a limitation for me. I was always going to be limited to the amount of people I saw every day. Yeah. And for me, I'm a pusher. So if I can see 4 clients in an hour, I want to max out at 6 hours. That's 24 people in 6 hours. You already know we have a very high rate of burnout, meaning that we'll push ourselves no matter what. We'll do what we have to. We'll go to the extremes, but not really realize the fallout later on or the burnout. Our body starts to hurt. Our back starts to hurt. We don't do a lot of self-care and self-love. And I was so in a place of desperation that I just kept focusing on how many people can I see? Yeah. Yes, time is always going to be a limit, but how many people can I see in an hour? How many people can I see in a day? How many people can I see in a week? Just to cover the basics, but not ever putting myself into the equation of, yes, I could probably see 100 people a week, but what is that going to do to me physically? Waxing is a very physical service, as we all know. You get sweaty. Yeah. You have to move people. You push their legs and arms around. They try to fight you. It's a very physically demanding service versus you sitting and doing, your éclairage and pétrissage and doing all of this manipulations. Waxing is labor intensive. And so even though I kept saying, let me get a great equation, let me get a great way to wax, let me be as fast as I can, I still had a limitation. And so when I looked at my limitations, it was bigger than just how many people I can see. Was my mentality always, I can only do business with people who I see or in person, someone who comes to my business? Is my mentality really there? And a lot of us were there, meaning I can only do business with people who walk into my door. I can only do business with people who make an appointment. I can only do business with people who actually talk to me and see me in my place of work. And it became daunting to me when I started looking at multiple streams of income underneath the umbrella of my business. Now, when I say that, a lot of people are always like, oh, I can do what we've been taught. What are we taught? We're taught to do services to earn income. We're taught to retail to those clients, but I may not be that great at retail, so I may or may not sell something. But I can really only make money with people who are in person with me, who are in my place of business. And I really want to present to you today a different way of looking at your business. Because if you're still in this in-person mentality, you're going to really limit the amount of income and possibilities of your business because you're not really giving me a bigger mind. You're not expanding the thought process on, do I have to have income based off of who I see? And believe it or not, I really say this a lot to estheticians, whether you've been in the business 3 months or 30 years. Where is your mentality at as far as how your business is ran? And can you offer really great advice to people, but they not be physically in your face? Can you talk to people about what's going on in their skincare routine, their nighttime routine, their daytime routine, without them physically having to be here? Do you give people options to spend money with your business without physically stepping into your place of business? And these kinds of thoughts have to take time, but you also have to have a strategic plan in order to have this. Because here's the thing about brick and mortars, and I say this in all honesty, okay? Brick and mortars are wonderful. This is how we do, this is what we've been trained in school to do. You've been trained to fold your bed, have the towels just so, have them warm. Everything needs to smell nice. You need to have all of your stuff close. Your bed needs to be comfortable. All of these things are what we train to do. But we're not trained how to be business people, business-minded people. We're trained to do a great service, be empathetic, know what we are supposed to know when it comes to skincare, hair removal, makeup application, whatever. We're supposed to be an expert in that, but we don't ever take that time to be an expert in the business side, meaning income, money-making activities. We kind of fall into that. And then when we fall into it, we kind of realize like, maybe I did not price that facial right because now I'm actually paying the client to come see me instead of me earning income. Or when you get a price increase from a manufacturer, we go into panic mode because we didn't know that we were supposed to mark it up 2.5 times. Or you get a rate increase on your place that you're actually renting from, and we go into panic mode because we didn't really understand the business side of how things work. So I'm a big proponent of really understanding money-making activities. So here in my chart here, green is always for money-making, okay? Mm-hmm. The purple is where we always have been. So the first one is, my biggest thing is weekly e-newsletters, okay? Now, people always poo-poo on e-newsletters. They poo-poo on emails. But guess what? I can show someone how to use a product more effectively in an e-newsletter with a simple video and a link to buy than I can if I talk to the limited amount of people that come into my business every day.
One at a time.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So I would rather have communication with a massive amount of people than the limited few that I only see. This to me is money-making activity, which means the client may not open the newsletter today. They may not open it tomorrow. They may open it next week. But guess what? I may not see them but every 4 to 6 weeks. And our mentality is, when you're in person, I can only do business with this client whenever I see her every 4 to 6 weeks. It's very limited, because guess what? That client is on their phone, on Amazon and every place else every day. They're buying something for themselves every single day. So why not have yourself in that mix too?
It's repetition also.
Absolutely.
So you're keeping top of mind in your client's eyes, even if they're, even they might even be triggered by the 3rd or the 4th week or the 6th week, who knows? Absolutely. But it's that repetition and keeping top of mind, like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to buy that. And one day they just do.
They do. And they can click to get it. And that's one thing that I really, especially my clients who stopped coming to me, whatever happened, life happened to them, maybe their income changed, maybe they moved, we didn't know. Things happen with those clients. And I've always been an advocate. I'm a 3-month person. I'm a 90-day person. So if I haven't really seen you in 90 days, then I need to figure out what's happening with you. I need to send you a personal note. I need to give you a personal email, personal call. And these things for my 90-day folks are amazing, because they have this pseudo relationship with you that they know you. Because we all know that. Estheticians, we all know that. All our clients think we have this special relationship, right? Yep. And they live on that pseudo relationship. So that reach out or that call or that text or that special little note to them saying, how are you? What's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. Are you okay? I know you haven't bought any of my products in about 90 days. So did you go to Walmart to get it or Walgreens? And they'll be, oh, no. Yes, I know. I know. And that little nudge allows them to still be a part of your business without physically having to come in. So I love 90 day. I love having 90 day really for anything in my business. If it doesn't sell in 90 days, it's gone. If that service doesn't work in 90 days, it's gone. Like, that's always how I've been in business. But for those clients who just kind of get lost by the wayside, 90 days for me is kind of my max, to where I just say, what's what's happening with you? I miss you. How is your child or whatever is happening in their life? Because I try to take as much notes as I can. I'm an old schooler. So, I'm an old school person. I actually have files that I keep on folks, and I like to make little notes, especially if it's something that's very important. I know everybody's in new age and they like to, type or put it in their phones or whatever. I'm very old school. I do believe writing down for me gives me that memory so that I have kind of something. And I do little keys too. I'll say, 2 kids or a dog or, boy and girl just had a baby or they just became a grandma or anniversary, like all those little things I try to write down. But, in our in-store personality down here, we see a client that runs out of products. They're going to buy a separate product and then they're going to wait until they see you on that 4 to 6 week cycle. So you got to kind of put the two, and I always make differences between the two because our money-making activities are still having them engaged. If you're going to be that in-person mentality, they're not going to be really engaged. They're only going to engage with you every 4 to 6 weeks if they keep their service appointment. So it's a really different way of thinking about money-making activities. And I'm going to go even bigger and expand on that because here's the thing. If you're wanting to do something in your business, here's the reminders of you thinking to yourself, okay, is this a money-making activity? Is whatever I'm offering an in-person only activity? If I'm going to do a promotion, does this person have to physically walk into my business in order to take advantage of it and or buy it? Or when I'm posting, what I'm emailing, or what I'm going to put a picture, will it compel someone to come in and be a part of my business? Or am I limiting that? Do I give them the option to call in to order or call in to make it? And see, and I'm gonna stop here because I think a lot of us are really still in this text phase because text can misconstrue a lot of things. I'm very old school. I think picking up the phone. People love to talk. And I'm gonna give this very good analogy, okay? As much as we're in technology, as much as we have texting options, look at the service-based offerings that are still in our industry that are still old school. Dentist and medical, they are still old school. You got to call into your dentist now. They may send you a text reminder, they may send you an email, but you still got to call in to really make an appointment.
It really is true.
It is true.
Yeah.
Dentists, you still have to call in, and they're even more slick about it because they give you an appointment that they don't ask you for your next 6-month cleaning. They just give it to you. Like they don't ask you. They just slide the card across and they give you a little floss and your toothbrush. So, you have to really understand, technology is great. Texting is great. In my opinion, a lot of texts misconstrue a lot of easy communication that could be handled over the phone. And not a lot of us like to talk on the phone. I get that. But we are in a service and relationship-based business, meaning that people want to have a relationship outside of the 4 walls that they see you in your business. They have that pseudo-like relationship in their mind, thinking you're their esthetician. You know all about their life. We're counselors. We are there to listen. Mm-hmm. So why not extend it outside of your treatment room when you interact with people? And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand there's a lot of crazies. There's a lot of needy. We have some that'll suck the hell out of you because they come in and just unload. I understand. But I'm going to take it to straight black and white. It's business. That's it. I'll get off that soapbox. So go ahead, Maxine.
No, I'm just, we're so always on the same page.
We are on the same page all the time. Yeah.
And I think it's lost.
It's a lost.
You really want to stand out and do what I think a lot aren't willing to do.
Yes.
Because it's uncomfortable or maybe don't have the time or whatever, or you just, have an idea of like, I just want to do text because that's easy for you. I promise if you just try and experiment, you'll see because you're going to be doing something different than
absolutely
everybody else.
I love it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Right on. Sorry, I know.
Okay, you know how we are. So yeah. my other keys too are: have you provided an opportunity for someone to spend money with you today? Is this activity or whatever you're going to do allow someone to spend money with you? What are you doing to allow people to spend money with you? And this question is always open-ended, and I always stump people, especially when I get frustrated people that come to me and they're like, I'm so super frustrated because I don't understand how to let people know that I have A, B, and C. And my biggest thing is what opportunity have you given that person to spend money with you?
Mm-hmm.
And have you thought about it from that point of view? Or is it, let me just put up how much it costs to do a service. Let me just put up how much it costs to retail and then figure out how the money is going to come in. What opportunities do you give people to spend money with you? And then my final one is just really, if someone wants to purchase something from you and they can't come in, what options do you give them? What is available? And what does every client that is in your business, do they know that they can get something from you without having to come to your business? If they don't, that should be the number one place that you also start. Because remember, in Stephanie Laynes' world, I always say this, it's a 60-40%. 60% should be coming from your retail. 40% should be coming from your services. So if you don't have that equation in your business, you got to be able to provide them opportunity to spend money with you without physically coming in. That means you got to have more options for them to shop with you without physically having to come in.
And I am curious, if you don't mind, I'd love to ask, because we have a good number of people on, what is your ratio of gross revenue? What portion comes from your services and what portion comes from your retail right now? If you want to put that in the chat box, that would just be really fun. We'll circle back to that.
Yes, that would be really good. So in our money-making activities, everyone always says, well, you always say money-making, but what are you really meaning? Let's break it down. So I mentioned before our e-newsletters that have links to purchase. Now, I'm going to give you a very quick way to do this. If you already have a product that you're selling right now, and if you have a business PayPal account, did you know that you could actually link from PayPal the specific product you have and get income? You don't have to have an e-commerce website. You don't even have to have a website. It's called a button. So it's called a PayPal button. You literally can put that button into your e-newsletter and people can purchase. I need to share it. You know, I share this all the time when I am doing stuff, but I need to share it a little bit more because there's a lot of people that come in and they're like, oh, I did not know that. So if you have a business PayPal account, you can actually do a button which allows people to purchase whatever you're selling, whether it's a service or whether it's a product. So in my opinion, every e-newsletter that leaves your business should have the option to purchase services and products. If you are selling products, offer free shipping to that client if they buy and they're not able to come in. Ship it to them for free. You know, the biggest thing that I've been exploring as of late in my group is retail memberships, because retail memberships are really starting to increase as we start to see a lot of non-spa owned businesses come in, i.e. these chains that come in and offer memberships for people to spend with them monthly and then attend whatever they have for monthly. Retail memberships are very, very interesting. There's been, in my research that I've done, there's been a lot of smaller businesses that are starting to do the membership based in order to get consistency on your books and consistency as far as income, but it also allows your clients to become regular. I don't understand how people and why they don't want to come in on a regular basis, but you put that monthly fee out on the first, they'll call right in. Oh, okay, so when do I need to make my appointment, or have I made an appointment for this month? It's very interesting, the whole membership option. And if you do a retail membership, of course, always give them free shipping. You're going to pad the amount of your retail price in order to cover your shipping. That's something that can be done very, very easy and very quickly. Skype and Zoom client consultations have extremely been on the rise, specifically because there's people who need help that may not be able to patronize your business. I know one esthetician who right now does once a week, nothing but Zoom calls and client consultations online. And that is their entire consultation business. They kind of lump everybody for consultations, whether it's a new client or someone who just literally only wants a client consultation for products. They've really become a staple in their business, because here's the thing about client consultations. A lot of us poo-poo on them and we do not give them their due diligence. Clients consultations will really change the way you deal with your customers and their skin conditions, because you actually have taken the time to understand what and how they got there. And the reason I know this is because the person who's doing the Skype and Zoom calls actually reached out to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're doing wonderful. She said, I actually am. You know, I dedicate literally one day where I'm, you know, taking an hour appointment, or I'll do 30-minute depending on what's going on. But I'm seeing up to 10 to 15 clients in a day, literally by just doing client Zoom calls and client consultations. Go ahead, Maxine.
No, I think it's great. Yeah, and I also love the retail membership, or think of it as subscribing, right? I mean, we're all shopping on Amazon, right? And
Absolutely.
there's always an option for subscribe and save. So
Yes.
now you're getting that product delivered to you on a monthly basis. And, let's face it, we're most skincare and most products are, um, the amount is for like a month,
Mhm.
supply. So
Mhm.
it's perfect. I love that. Consultations, we definitely have. We did have a good question come through about Canada though, so I wanted to kind of jump on that while
Sure.
we're on this topic, about the different commerce laws for Canada.
Mhm.
I'm not up on it. Do you ship to Canada?
I do.
So I know that it's pretty pricey.
Yes, and I know it depends on what the product is. I know they have a lot of regulations on what can be sold and what can't be sold. Um, for the most part, what I ship is not active, if that makes sense. So I don't have to have the active being checked by Health Canada, but I do ship to Canada. I also have a distributor in Canada as well. So you muted yourself, Maxine.
I did. I'm trying to, when I'm typing, like, and responding to someone, I don't want the, all right. So, yeah, I think she's mostly for a spa owner
Mm-hmm.
shipping out. You're going to have, I would pad that. I don't think that there's e-commerce laws or commerce laws to ship out. I mean, can't, Amazon, you can
Yes,
subscribe and and save, and they ship to Canada, right?
correct.
So if it's just a higher shipping, you just want to pad that into your pricing.
Correct. Absolutely. That was
Hmm.
a good question.
Yeah,
Um, and then my final, which is really out of the box, is how do live how-to trainings. There was a gal in California who actually did this. She did once a month. She just did a brow fill-in how-to class where she invited 10 people to come in and actually showed them how to do their brow fill-ins on their own versus them showing when you're in the, getting your brows done and they do it real quick. She actually did a full class on it so that when they went home, they understood how to fill in their brows, and people paid for this, shockingly. Another one is she also did was a cleansing routine and product application. People laugh at this one, and I've said this on many calls when I used to do my esthetician chat. Showing someone actually how to wash their face is actually not as funny as you actually think it is. A lot of people don't know how to properly cleanse their face. They
yeah.
also don't know how to properly apply products onto their skin and what order to put them in. So she actually did another class on this for people that had any kind of skin conditions. She broke it down for acne. She broke it down for hyperpigmentation. She broke it down for people who are going through menopause or starting the menopause phase. She actually had classes. It was all a how-to. She would do a how-to class. And here's the thing about how-to classes. It has nothing to do with you touching. It has nothing to do with appointments. It really has to do with relationships with your clients. Are you showing them or are you telling them? Because here's the thing, we're great at saying, you know what, you need to put this on day and night. You need to put this on after.
Yep.
And did you actually show them how to do it though? There's a girl on Instagram that I used to follow. I don't follow anymore. She got a little bit risky, but she is actually about once a month. She would actually show how she cleanses with the cleansers. And then she would show how to put serums on. She would show how to do the eye creams. She would show how to put on the sunscreen. She would show how to massage in the moisture cream. Now, then she started doing some body stuff and started taking showers. So I had to, let go on that. I'm not here to be watching you bathe, but she actually had, and she was an esthetician. You actually had a really good thought there. She increased her retail sales because she simply showed people how to use the product that they bought.
I love it. And we think that they should know because we know,
And they
and they
don't.
don't. And
They
that
don't.
repetition, I mean, repetition is key. I always say, people, we have to kind of share things over and over.
Correct.
So it's amazing. You could do little videos and include
Absolutely.
that's value for your clients.
Absolutely.
Turn
And they
those into
love it.
blogs. Oh my God.
They love it. Absolutely.
All
So
right.
my story continues after that. So as I said, I was an esthetician. I have been an esthetician, 16 years, business owner, 14 years, 7-minute Brazilian, open smooth skin supply, created Say Brazil waxes. So in my latest feed, I actually formulated and created Say Skin botanical skincare. This skincare line was really for specifically my daughter. So if you've never followed my story, my daughter, there she is, gorgeous as she wants to be, suffers from eczema, and it is on her face, and it's been on her face since about 3 months old. I've gone through pretty much everything as far as the medical route, the steroid route, don't touch her, don't kiss on her, all of these things we were told when she was a child because they didn't know the severity of her eczema. So I really wanted to and it didn't come to me until I really started understanding eczema specifically hands-on, but then researching how eczema is treated, and it's not really treated, to be honest. Because my daughter's eczema is so severe, she will never be able to get a facial, not even from me. And that to me was extremely heartbreaking because it expands outside of just the facial. She could never walk into a Sephora and get products. She could never go with her friends somewhere and they all have a spa day and get started. She could never do that. And it didn't really dawn on me until she got around 9 and she was really serious about dance. She's a dancer. And they wear makeup constantly on stage. They wear makeup taking pictures. This is one of her photo sheets. So, it didn't dawn on me until I was like, oh my gosh. And of course she wants to be a dancer. So I'm like, oh, that means she's going to be wearing makeup all the time. And, how am I going to maneuver her so that people don't really see the eczema, especially when it's flared up? And then how am I going to maneuver the makeup wearing for the expended time that she has it on, along with the sweating and everything else that dancers go through? And I really just became her coach. I started, one, by telling the doctors I'm never going to put steroids on my 3-month-old. Thank you very much. 2, it really became understanding her triggers and understanding why her skin is doing what it does. And the third part is really being diligent in understanding what touches her skin and what doesn't touch her skin. And this really kind of morphed into something that I really did not anticipate, to be honest. I always knew that I was going to be able to make and provide and test products for her specifically. I always had that capability, especially I have 3 labs that I work with. So I was always able to formulate on that level, but I did not understand with me sharing our journey, what it would affect other people. And in saying that, Safe Skin has been a brainchild of mine for a long time. It really pushed me to the point of understanding skincare on a different level, because as estheticians, we really know what we know based off of skin conditions. And eczema, psoriasis, they're never in that skin condition. We never tackle that. And the reason we don't tackle it is because it's so unknown. And it's unknown because there's no cure. It's unknown because atopic dermatitis flares up for different reasons. And it could be 150 different reasons and for different people. And it affects people differently as well. So there's a lot of things that happen when you come under the eczema prone skin, the atopic dermatitis. So there's 30 million people in the US who suffer. There's no cure. And I already know you have clients that already suffer with eczema, and we're kind of just at a stalemate because eczema is so unknown. It's not talked about. It's not taught. It's not discussed. It's eczema. And it's kind of put into that category and it's pushed to the side. And then it's like, okay, well, when you're not in a flare up, maybe you can come see me, instead of understanding the flare up or understanding the trigger or understanding why this client responds in this way versus this client responds in this way. And I really wanted to be able to help estheticians understand it's a bigger picture than just coming in and getting a treatment. It's a bigger picture than you doing a facial treatment every 6 months, because they can't have facial treatments. They can't have body treatments. I see a lot of this in waxing as well, especially with our products. And our products, I formulated Say Brazil post-wax products specifically with my daughter in mind because her skin is so super sensitive. So I created products that were super, super sensitive for people who just respond and just react in certain ways. And so in taking that and looking at that in a bigger picture, most people don't understand how eczema can be debilitating, how it can be downright depressing for someone who has no help or understanding of what happens to their skin in the processes that it's been in. And so about January of this year, I launched the line with the intentions of sharing my daughter's journey. If you're not in my group that I have for it, I've actually shown her outbreak in its worst. And it's completely, she has hypopigmentation, flaked out skin. I've shown Maxine when she's had an outbreak, and Maxine's like, oh my goodness.
Poor girl.
Yes.
I think what was so compelling, we were kind of talking before, I don't want to ruin your flow, but 30 million people who cannot get a facial.
Yeah.
And so, this is an opportunity. I mean, of course we love helping, but I mean, that's just like hit me like a ton of bricks, like that's a lot of people that could never, like Celine can never get a facial.
Never. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to help us understand it and not put it over to the side, like really embrace it and say, well, what can I do to help?
Right.
And so I'm launching, we'll have our first certification class here in Dallas in August. I'm also launching online in August as well. I just pile my plate on so much. But our coaching certification, which is really specifically for people who suffer with eczema prone skin. And the response that I've gotten, I told Maxine, I opened up the class, I think in February, it filled in 2 weeks. I have people traveling from all over the U.S. coming to train with me, look and touch and feel my daughter's skin. And she has a couple friends that I'm going to be bringing in as well that also suffer from eczema, but really show them my techniques and our product line that has really changed a lot of people in the way that they look at eczema. And the techniques have really been specific to being the extreme, sharing a little bit about how, our daughter is here. A lot of it is environmental, which means what we do here is very extreme. And the reason I'm super extreme is because I can be. But even when it was just Celine and I, before I married my husband, Rudy, when he came into the fold or into the tribe, it was very different. We dated for a while. And I told him, when we decided to move in together and get married, I said, when you come in, there's going to be some things that change. And he's like, what do you mean? The Lever 2000 won't be in here, honey. Your bleach and your fabric softener and that nice smelling Tide you have. Yeah, that doesn't come in here either. What? Yes. But you'll be fine. Go ahead and move in. And we really started getting to the bottom of it. For her, it's very much environmental. It's very much triggers. Allergy is a big trigger. Stress is a big trigger. We really changed the way we look at things. And even now he's an advocate. So if you come into our place here in Dallas and you talk to him about how we had to change him to kind of fit into our environment here, he even says, even now, he's like, yeah, I didn't really realize what I was putting on my skin. I didn't understand, that the scented stuff that I thought was great in the Lever 2000 or in the Tide was really irritating to us. Cause I can tell if he does something and I'm like, ooh, wait. No. So our environment has really changed. We're extreme. So Celine has a whole ecosystem in her room. So all of her blankets, everything that she has when we travel actually travels with her to keep her ecosystem the same. She never uses the same towel twice. She has paper towels she uses on her face. We have all of our cleansing bars that we have, which have no scent in them. So I'm very extreme to keep her very calm, to keep her skin very in the same environment without flaring up. Now it does flare up. And that's when she doesn't do what she's supposed to do. But in our coaching certification, it's really coaching. It's coaching people to understand it's a bigger thing than just what you put onto your skin. It's just not the cleanser or the lotion or the oil. It's what happens when it gets onto your skin and what do you see that you do that comes in contact with your skin. And in saying those in that way, I have had probably since January over 500 people that have come up and probably, I would say not even probably, but either emailed me or sent me a private message asking me, what is this? What is that? Or what do you think? Or my daughter suffers from that. Or how did you get your daughter's skin to stay so perfect? And in doing all of that, I've had other estheticians that have reached out to me. Catherine, who's in the group, has reached out to me specifically about people that she has tried to work with on a different level. And I've taken her and kind of turned her around and say, okay, so let's do it in this manner. Simply just ask questions. I just ask all these questions, take your notes, and then bring it back to me. And this person that's on the right side is actually her client. So if you see Skin Maven, this was her client that she presented to me in the very beginning, that she helped control the eczema with this young man in 30 days. Specifically what I told her really to do. This woman over here on the left is a person who's actually in Singapore. She's actually a maid and really reached out to me because she has, which is a typical, most of us, some people know about eczema on the tips of the hands. We don't call it that. We call it like a little rash or anything like that. But she uses a lot of harsh ingredients on her hands. And this is her results after 3 days of using our botanical balm and doing her glove technique, which is a technique that I share every night. In 3 days, all of her eczema and dead skin and flaked skin healed up within that time. So I'm very super excited because I think showing things in this way and giving estheticians the opportunity to coach versus having someone physically be in your room and touch them and talk to them and do a facial, you have the opportunity to change the way you look at skincare in whole. You know, I'm a big advocate of client consultations. You learn a lot about people when you ask certain questions. You learn a lot about how they bathe, what they talk to, who they talk to, what their environment is. Do you keep the air conditioner on all night? Do you keep the heater on all night? Is there moisture in your house? Do you drink enough water? All of these things, we really don't look at it when we start doing client consultation because we're so focused on their condition. When you have an eczema person who doesn't know what their triggers are, who doesn't understand why they flared up, has had the condition for years, and you're starting to see scarring on their skin. You're starting to see very thick skin. You're starting to notice that they scratch and they're night scratchers and, you know, they just scratch until they bleed. You really don't understand it until you go in the reverse. So let's talk about what comes in contact every day. What do you do every day? How hot is your water? Do you have harsh detergent? Are you using fabric softener? Do you use the same cleansing stuff or do you change it? You know, there's an old saying for eczema folks to do bleach baths. I'm not a big advocate of bleach baths. I think it's horrible, to be honest. I don't want that on me, but for some it works. So it's a new and exciting way to look at helping people who would not normally patronize your business. Because someone who has eczema, case in point, my daughter, would never come to your business. And we all know someone who has a friend or a relative or someone that we know that suffers with eczema. And we really just sit there and we're kind of like, yeah, I know what the condition is. You might want to try this product, but you've never really come to it in the way that I'm presenting it. My little baby here is such a cute. Now this actually happened just recently. This little baby was at the Vegas show. And the grandmother actually came up to the booth while I was there and said, my grandson is really suffering and I don't really know what. We've tried steroids, we've done everything. And I said, you know what? You have to get the botanical balm. You have to get our honey manuka cleansing bar and just do that. You know, who else has eczema in the family? And she's like, I don't know. I said, is he still breastfeeding? She said, yep. I said, so where the little milk is drooling down on him, the mom has something that's going on her breast too. So mom needs to be using the honey manuka bar too. And she's like, okay. So she went back and then she sent me this picture 7 days after because the mom did exactly what I told her to do. And the little baby's so cute, little boy, everything cleared up. And so these are the kind of things that I like to share and explain because we've never in our industry, we don't take the time to explain eczema. We don't take the time to have a point of view that really doesn't come from an esthetician. It's either you're going to get on a drug and try to clear it up, or you're going to suffer with it and you may use something that helps you every now and then, but we don't really explore how we can actually do a day-to-day understanding of what happens to someone, whether they're in a flare-up or they're not in a flare-up. And I see the little things down here blowing up with little questions. Maxine's like, yes. I'm very excited because I think this is something that a lot of us are looking to do with those clients that we just have that we're not able to help. I will hand everything back over to Maxine because I know she has a whole lot of stuff to do after this. So Maxine, go ahead. We can open it up to Q&A if you'd like.
I would love to. Well, I'd love to open it up to Q&A, but I'd also want to just kind of set the stage of you have the solution for them, for you on this webinar.
I do.
Those on this webinar, we have a solution. That's what excited me, Stephanie. This multiple stream of income, you know, there's only so many hours in the day. what kind of things can we do to help those clients that are afflicted and affected and change their life, and we don't have to even bring them in,
Right.
to see them. And Nancy asked, which video apps do you recommend? Do you use a certain video app? Because I love my phone and, of course, Zoom to record something, but what do you like?
For recording videos, I actually just use my regular camera. And then when I put videos on and cameras on, I like to use a couple different apps. The first one, and let me look at it real quick because I never remember. I use
for editing?
InShot. I use Photo. For editing, I'll use iMovie. I also use, what's in the newest one I got? And I played with it the other day and I was like, oh my gosh. What is it called?
I don't know.
I got to share it with you because I can't remember which one I have. And I have a lot of video apps that I do.
Actually, Linda, the rest of the webinar, we're just going to close up. We're going to talk about how you can become certified to help those clients. And this could be a game changer for your business, because I guarantee you there's half of your clients are affected and they just don't know it.
Right.
So I'm super solution oriented. Again, another stream of revenue to come into your business. And of course, the biggest component is we love to help people. That's why we're estheticians.
Absolutely.
This is why we do what we do. And Nancy says, I really needed this. I have a lot to learn. We all do. I'm like, I still learn something new every day. I'm reading 2 different books right now, and it's like, there's always something to learn. It's being open to it. So I'm very curious to learn about your certification program, Stephanie. This is one of a kind. No one's doing it. And I love that kind of boss lady attitude anyway, of just owning it, to say, hey, I'm going to create something for estheticians so they can help more people, and they don't have to necessarily bring them in. So my brain was already thinking of like, wow, you could create all this automated stuff already and record videos and create group coaching. So I was already like listening and being like, woo, going off on tangents of what you could create. But I'm going to let you explain it because this is your baby.
Yes. And the course is really specific. So there's about 7 to 8 different types of eczema that's already been categorized.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's pretty extreme. Even the most minute, there's one that a lot of people get on their fingers and it's tiny little bumps, is actually a source of eczema. I'm also going to go briefly over the different medications and side effects, because I'm a big fan of no medications and or side effects, especially from steroids and the overuse of steroids. We also are going to review exactly how to do an extensive client consultation for your eczema client, how to price your coaching, what products we suggest for the client to use, how to start getting someone to understand their triggers. All of those are really big keys to that. And then after that, it's really the maintaining. It's really the maintenance, because you are giving them that lifeline. And here's the thing about eczema. For some people, they may not see a result within 2 to 3 months. It may take that much time for them to get their skin under control. And the thing about that is understanding the bigger picture. And for me, it's always been, how can I maintain her skin so that she is not embarrassed or goes through any kind of suffering unnecessary. When she was little and I didn't understand it, there would be a lot of people that would ask her, what's wrong with your face? And it's such a heartbreaking thing to see her come home with her little moon eyes and be like, Mommy, they don't understand what's happening on my face. And she would call her Xer. They don't know my Xer. And I'm like, you have to just explain that you have eczema and that it'll go away, but it's just a process that's happening on your skin right now. And the pictures that I've shown here, I mean, you can even, I know that Catherine can chime in, the young man and the mother of the young man definitely gave her a lot of calls and kudos to her for helping. It's not just the results of the skin being cleared and calm and not red and oozing and itchy, but it's the results that people are looking for so that the skin is calm. It's an uncomfortable situation. It's something for a lot of people that's very embarrassing, Yeah. How can it happen to them and no one not know? My whole thing is prescribing is never the answer. It never is the answer. And I do think that there's a lot of people who want to have a simple solution, very easy to do, but just have simple directions. And that's really where the coaching part comes from.
So is this exclusively for your online training course?
Correct.
Your class in August is already filled, right? The live class, so that's done. How long is the course?
The course is an hour. So here's the thing. The in-person course is actually 16 hours. So it's 2 full 8-hour days. Online, It's the same thing. So it's self-paced.
Okay.
So you will have no different than in person. You'll have a quiz after every module. You'll have to pass in order to go on to the next module. So I'm being very diligent about this. It's not just a participation. You're just going to look and watch and see. No, 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 no. You need to be able to recall. It'll be open book, but at least be able to understand exactly what I'm asking and how the questions will be asked of you and answering them correctly. So it's a pretty intensive thing. We already have a group right now. It's already our Say Skin Botanical Skincare Therapist group on Facebook, and you'll see a lot of people who've already posted in there. And then once we have our certified coaches, we actually have a separate place for just certified coaches that will have separate offers to be listed on our website as a coach so that people who are looking for coaches can find them in their area. We also have another separate marketing plan that's just for coaches, just to market their business and the products that they retail for customers. So we have a whole system set up for them as well.
So you're really setting them up for success.
Absolutely.
To care for, that's what I love about you. You know, just the whole, not just, I mean, that's pretty extensive, 16 hours.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. And I like how you have it broken up where you can't go on to the next. And I think that's good for you guys because we do tend to get it. We all want to learn it all at once.
Absolutely.
I'm guilty of that too. And I think it's good to have someone slow us down, give it to us in the bite-sized manner. We can digest it a lot easier. And that's fantastic. Is anybody else excited about being able to offer this to your clients? Because please post any questions you have, any final questions, and put that in the chat box for us. And let's get your questions answered. You know, Catherine said that she has all of us who have clients who suffer from eczema and atopic, but they never tell us because they don't know, and that we have the training to help them, which is really true. So if we start having a conversation about eczema, they're going to be like, wait a minute, wow. So, and Catherine's in my coaching group, so she's posted a lot of her success stories and the before and afters and how she changed this young man's life. And it's pretty one person at a time, which is, you know, but now you can handle a whole group offline, you know, where they're not coming in to see you, because I don't think she's touched this person.
Yeah, Catherine actually has done a really good job with expanding, and she's been coming back and forth with me, and we're talking about different folks that she's working with, and she's also getting a lot of referrals to people because there is people that know that she's working with eczema clients now as well, and so a lot of referrals have come to her to do some one-on-one coaching as well.
And you probably didn't see yourself doing this, right? It was the demand of estheticians that are like coming to you, and you're like, wait a minute, ding, ding, ding. Maybe I should put together, you know, and you're the perfect person because of this journey you're like the most qualified in my opinion because of your journey. It's like, you know, how I feel about Becky Keene in oncology. She was you know what I mean? It's like, so, and so it's like, you know, Joelle Lee and multicultural. It's like, okay. You know, it's like you are walking the talk and you've been there with your daughter, and here we go. So absolutely. I'm thrilled. So if there isn't any final questions, we'll go ahead and probably end our class. But if there is, go ahead. You still have time to put in the chat box. We have a couple more minutes. But if I don't see anything, we'll probably go ahead and end. But this offer will be available for 72 hours. So what you'll do is if you've signed up for this webinar, you'll get an email reminder about the offer. And thanks for being with us live today to learn about this exciting, it's kind of sad, but I'm excited for the solution, Stephanie. That's what I'm excited about.
It is. And the thing is too that I had to really kind of come to terms with is a lot of people are really afraid of the unknown. And when you see someone that has, skin that's not healthy, our first thought is, oh, we got to, refer out. And for me, referring out and going to the people who you thought were going to help to get a steroid or a drug, which would only mask it and not actually get to the root of it, was even more disappointing. And, I'm not saying that doctors aren't, in my opinion, and I'm just saying my opinion, I find because eczema is so extensive that it's easy to prescribe a drug versus understanding where the triggers come from, what people are allergic to, what are they responding to. And like I said, our client consultation form is like 3 pages long. So it's an in-depth client consultation form. It's getting down to your daily, what do you do when you're sweaty? Do you use a towel to wipe your face, or do you wipe your face on your skin? I mean, it's really in depth. So it's going to
Go ahead. No, Danielle said this was a very informative class. Lori asked a really great question, and that is this a science-based class that you're doing, or more general overview of how to work with eczema?
Overview of how to work with clients that have eczema. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have a little bit of science behind it, but the thing is that the science is not what's going to help people deal with their eczema. So I kind of have a good balance of both. But clients really want help, and they want solutions, and they want realistic solutions. And there are going to be some clients that we can't help. So I really am more of equipping people to really understand the bigger picture. And there's lots of information, scientific information out on eczema right now. There's a lot that you can find really on your own, and that's not really what I'm focusing on. I'm really wanting estheticians to understand what they can and can't do with clients that do suffer with eczema.
Lisa says thank you so much. She's excited about the program. Taylor asked, do you give master classes on increasing retail sales, whether it be waxing or skincare?
I have in the past. A lot of places that you can find a lot of my older content is on my website, which is what I clicked in the link. So if you go to stephanielaynes.com, I have a lot of content on there. And then also my YouTube channel, I have a lot of free content on retail sales for waxing, skincare, the esthetician. In general, and that's all free and available on my YouTube channel.
I love it. Yeah, I'm excited about this program too. I think, you kind of did like a soft launch, and you had a couple of students under your belt, and then you're like, wow, this is really something where people want to learn, and so this is like an untapped market to jump on board now, is how I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
Be one of the first, baby, right?
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Thank you, Stephanie. I can't wait to see you in October at the Beauty Business Summit in St. Pete Beach.
Me either.
But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all your questions. And we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.